I'm getting more excited about doing these smaller projects on an annual basis. I think there's more to it, more fun to that, because I can constantly work with different harvests of tobacco in different years and different primings and do small specialty projects. I think that's been a lot of fun. And I didn't see that coming 3 or 4 years ago. I'd have been like, no man, we're just gonna build brands. That's it. One brand a year and nothing more. But I've had a lot of fun doing the limited stuff, and it's been well received. So I'd like to continue doing that. I see a lot of people trying to spin it to a positive, like, well, this is really good news. This is a good day for cigars because we may end up being exempt.
Yeah.
But if you dig a little deeper into it, the parameters of that exemption are terrible. I mean, they're saying they're going to classify premium cigars would be exempt if they're $10 and above per cigar. So what's that going to do to the industry if the exemption goes through with the current language, which hopefully it won't. I'm sure that the CRA and the CAA and the IPCPR are going to try to lobby more in the next 75 days to educate the FDA a little bit more, and they've done a great job to this point. But if they can't get that language out, nobody's exempt unless you're north of 10. You're Davidoff and Padron Anniversario.
Yeah.
But what is that going to do to manufacturers? It's going to force everybody to drive their prices north of $10 a stick, and then what's that going to do to sales? What's that going to do to brick and mortar? It's a lot of implications and ramifications that if this isn't sorted out the right way, that it's still not, I'm not happy about where we're at with it so far. And what it comes down to is like, come on, do you need the government to tell you what you should be doing, or what's bad for you or what's good for you? We're all adults. This is an adult pastime. This is an adult indulgence. It's like drinking spirits. I don't need the government to tell me that there's health risks involved. It's my choice as an American to make that decision for myself. I don't need the nanny government telling me this. Like we said off camera, I really don't like the word boutique because it's so vague. Because I think boutique to one person might mean a number of cigars that you produce. Boutique to another person might mean the philosophy of the brand of the company. So what does boutique mean anymore? Is it, is it a number? Is it a style? I don't know. It's interesting, but I think it's overused. It's like one of those terms like passion. Passion, like in the 90s and the 2000s, man, everybody's ad says something about passion. Okay, I get it. Obviously, you're passionate about what you do, otherwise you wouldn't do it. But do you need to beat that over and over and over, passion? So now the catchword is boutique, and everybody wants to be, classify something as boutique, and it's not a fair descriptive, I think. It's just open-ended.
What would you call your company then?
Crowned Heads.
How would you describe it? If not boutique, how would you describe it?
Man, I don't know if there is a description for it, really. I just think it's you pour all these different ingredients in the blender and turn it on and pour it out, and that's what you get, And if you change any of those ingredients, if you took me out of the mix, or Mike out of the mix, or Adam or Wes, whatever, it wouldn't taste the same. Something would be off. It would be different. So I don't like, just to paint yourself in a corner and say, okay, we're boutique, or we're craft, or we're whatever, mass market, what have you. It's just, you are what you are. I don't think anybody needs to be put in a box with a label on it to say, oh, that company is boutique, that company is mass market, that company is craft. Why do you need to do that? I'm a big fan. It's interesting because when we were at the TAA at the end of the month, last month, there's a certain component of that trade show where everybody, retailers and manufacturers, are logging on and doing a live poll, and they post the results of the poll. And questions like what size of cigar sells best for you? Do you have a TV in your lounge? Things like that. But then, literally, like the 56th question into the whole Q&A thing was directed towards retailers. How do you feel about bloggers? And they directed the same question to the manufacturers, and it was like complete flip-flop. Like the retailers were not fans of bloggers, and the manufacturers, we felt bloggers serve a purpose, and that they're creating interest and buzz in the industry, and disseminating the news, in a timely manner. But there's certain retailers that feel that bloggers, I think they're a little bit kind of put off because, like for instance, one guy said, I can't tell you how many times somebody comes into my store and says, have you tried such cigar? And no, I've never heard of it. What is that? Well, so-and-so on this blog rated it. It's rated really well, so can we get it in? And they got kind of put off by that. And I'm like, in my opinion, was, well, if you're in the cigar business, doesn't it behoove you to stay on top of your business, like to see what cigars are out there, to keep a track of what consumers are, what's trending, I guess you will. And they just didn't see it that way. It was interesting. And then, or the fact that they got a little put off by that bloggers get pre-release samples before they do. And it was funny because right after we took a break, I went up to a very prominent retailer and I said, did you ever smoke the Las Calaveras samples that I sent you? I sent you a 4-pack before I sent it to anybody, because I still haven't sent anything out to a blogger. And he goes, and he just smiled and said, no, I haven't. I'm like, well, there you go. It's like, we're giving, we're doing what you want to do, but you guys just, so it's an interesting, it's like a bipolar thing with bloggers, and they don't want them at the IPCPR. And
do you feel like that's mostly retail that doesn't want them there?
yeah, I think so. I think, just talking from my friends, that are brand owners, we all feel like, the bloggers, if they pay their, $250 media pass, why shouldn't they be there? Why shouldn't they go in there? And most of them that I've dealt with have been very respectful of your time. If you're with a customer and they're going to come barging in on you, you're going to wait and say, do you have some time? Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the cigars. Because as a manufacturer, as a brand owner, you want to promote that. You want to get the word out there. And the bloggers are the ones that are doing it for us. So I absolutely think that they're an important cog in the wheel. And I think they're good for the industry for the most part. And I got in the industry in 96, so I've been around for a little bit. And back in those days, you had one vehicle or one avenue to get your message out there, and it was Cigar Aficionado. And you literally would have to type up a press release and print it and then send it on the fax and hope that, at that time it was only quarterly. It was only 4 issues, so you were hoping that they would pick that up. And then came the forums started coming up, and then all of a sudden you get to, online chat with other guys that are into the same things that you're into, talk about cigars. And then after that, CA came up with Cigar Insider, and then they went online, and then you had this whole online community. So it's really it's been a slow process, but I think it's really kind of grown a lot if you look at where we are now versus, the late 90s. And I think that some retailers are just a little bit reluctant to accept that evolution has happened. But it's a good evolution. I mean, like you said, that's the way of the world now. Blogs are an important thing, and I don't see them going away at all. It's how do we figure out how everybody can all work together and be happy. So, I'm pro blogger. But for me, like my first experience with purchasing cigars as a consumer, I walked into a store here in Nashville, and I was completely overwhelmed. I had no idea what I was doing. It's like, oh my God, there's a million different sizes and blends and brands and da-da-da-da-da. And then I'll never forget this. One guy came up to me and said, sir, can I help? Sir, first of all, I was like, what? And he's like, can I help you find something? And I said, well, yeah, I'm just buying some cigars for my father. It's a gift, and I don't know what I'm doing. And he was very well, let me explain, Dominican selection. Here's Honduran, here's Nicaraguan. You want to do something mild to medium, and it really kind of educated me, and it was like a very service-oriented tobacco store. And that's what I really vibe on going to stores, when people do that. You don't have to be pushy and say, oh, you need to buy this or that,
right.
But the education process.
Right.
And that, to me, makes a great retail tobacco. That's the difference between a tobacconist and a cigar shop.
Yeah.
And I miss that a little bit, but
yeah.
they're still out there.